and welcome back to No Time for Neutral. I'm your host, Georgia Hawthorne.
And I'm Andy.
Andy, it has been a busy June. Busy,
Busy,
busy
busy.
June.
Yes, it has.
We had elections right at the beginning. I'm sure everyone has seen the nominees by now, but if you haven't, we've got Sam Forstag in the West, Alani Bankhead in the Senate race, and Brian Miller over in the East. Other than that, we've been plotting and planning with candidates about how we're going to flip these seats in November. We had our convention just a couple of weeks ago in Billings. We got to hang out with Billings Pride, got to walk in the parade. That was a lot of fun.
Yes. That was
And
lots of fun.
I know you were missing Missoula Pride, but
I had a blast. We had a great group of people and a bunch of us wore t-shirts and
I
yeah, it was cool to support the Billings folks while we
uh
were.
I actually still have my makeup thing on my desk.
Oh, nice.
Kev Ham, our candidate for the PSC, handed me this. And I got to run around drawing rainbows on everyone's faces for the parade. But so, Andy, we talked about this convention, and it was our platform convention this year. Last year it was rules, this year it's platform. And I feel like a question that a lot of folks might have is what the hell actually is a platform? And why do we all need to show up to Billings to talk about it? And you make good points. A platform is essentially a document that's comprised of policy and values that the Montana Democratic Party believes in and fights for. It essentially serves as a framework for central committees, volunteers, candidates, elected officials. It serves as their roadmap on how they can best improve the lives of Montanans.
Yeah. It's essentially our official document after we come together and discuss in a democratic fashion
Mhm.
where we stand, what we stand for, what we fight for.
Right?
And that's what we made amendments to.
Mm-hmm. It's
Convention.
essentially a whole bunch of Democrats in a room fighting for what they believe in, and majority opinion wins, just like elections. We can have conversations, we can have discourse, we can even have arguments, but at the end of the day, what the majority decides on is what goes forward.
Mhm.
So, Andy, I want to go through a good handful of proposals that we passed into the platform in Billings. These are not the exact language. I don't want to bore everybody to tears. And the whole platform will be up on the website, montanademocrats.org, hopefully soon. I think we all knew this going into convention that data centers were going to be the hot topic of the
We sure
convention.
did. I told everybody that was going to be the
Oh,
hot
yeah.
topic, and it was.
And the reason it needed to be a hot topic is because data centers are so new. This whole phenomenon of data centers coming in and guzzling all of our energy and water, that is a
Yes.
very new phenomenon. And so the platform didn't really have anything that addressed data centers at all. And so now we do. We have a good handful of proposals around data centers that passed. The first one, the big one, we did pass support for a 2-year moratorium
Mhm.
on any unapproval, construction, or development of any large scale data center that uses more than 20 megawatts
Mhm.
um, of energy. We supported industrial users paying their fair share when it comes to energy rates. There's no reason why a data center gets to come in and make you foot the bill.
Yeah,
And on
that
that
doesn't make
same,
sense at all.
yeah, on that same note, we passed support to create a separate energy rate entirely for data centers within the utility to protect us as existing customers. Another one, this one's a little bit weedy, but moving data center property from class 17 to class 13 for tax purposes. Class 13 is where all of the networking and telecommunications companies live already. And data centers don't need their own special little tax bracket.
They would probably like that.
Oh, I'm sure they would love it. The other big issue with data centers is water. We hear a lot about energy rates and things like that, but the other one is water. They use a good amount of water. And Montana doesn't really have all that much water to spare at the current moment.
We're lucky
And
with the water supply we do have
right.
compared to other places in this country. Yeah.
I mean, I hope no one missed Governor Gianforte's Pray for Rain Day a couple of weeks ago. Like, if we're it, like we're in a drought, guys. And so we passed a proposal to establish a new water use classification for data centers to protect existing private water rights, tribal water rights, and then just our general water resources. And then our last data center proposal is kind of a catch-all of all of these things. It's to adopt enforceable regulations on data centers in regards to cost increases, energy rates, water quality, water quantity, community input, union labor, taxation, all of those things. We just want to make sure that if data centers end up coming to Montana, that we have the regulations in place.
Regulated, exactly.
To protect the rest of us.
Yeah. Like we said, data centers were the hot topic of the convention and definitely brought the most feelings.
For sure.
And I think between the regulations, this proposal we just talked about, and the moratorium, we as Democrats can at least say we are paying attention and we are actively doing something. There was another proposal that didn't get passed, which was an outright ban on data centers. And there was a lot of people that were very passionate about it. Understandable. That one did not have majority support. And it could be argued that because there was this alternate proposal of the 2-year moratorium, which, like we said, required, community input for 2 years before anything happens regarding a data center. So now we do have like the proposal for the 2-year moratorium and the regulation requirements. And so I think we can, feel good that we did put that in place, where prior to this convention, there was nothing in regards to data centers. And this is an ever evolving topic. And so continue paying attention, and I guarantee next platform convention will probably add more to the platform regarding data centers.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think what we have in place in the platform right now is a really good starting point. Like you said, we'll probably add to it in coming years. But right now, the moratorium says big old pause button for 2 years. Pause. Everyone's got to figure out what's going on. Everyone needs to learn more about this. Everyone needs to figure out where the vulnerabilities are, where people will feel the pinch. And then in that 2 years, while we're on pause, we get to say, okay, yes, maybe if. Yeah, we'll consider letting you come here if you're going to have your own separate energy rate and your own separate water classification and you're in your right tax bracket and you're going to use union labor and you're going to do all of those things. That becomes a very different conversation than just no. And that's where a lot of that discourse came from when that ban did go down.
Totally.
One of the other topics we saw a lot of proposals come through about was water rights and agriculture. Water kind of spans a lot of different things, but our farmers are real concerned about water right now, and they have every right to be. The first proposal was to oppose the privatization and exploitation of water for luxury amenities that the public doesn't have access to. I am looking at you, golf courses, country clubs. The Crazy Mountain Ranch imports a crazy amount of water from nearby cities and counties to water their golf course. Did we ever consider that maybe the people in those towns and counties maybe needed that water? So making sure we're being fair and equitable and making sure that everyone has access to water who needs it.
We all need it.
Yeah, because we all need it. Come on now. We also put in language to oppose tariffs that interfere with U.S. agricultural markets. I can only imagine where that one came from. And then these are two pretty big proposals, in my opinion. We passed support for both right to repair for all products and equipment, not just farm equipment, but also right to modify for all products, especially in the agricultural world. If you have a tractor, generally you can't fix it yourself. You have to take it to John Deere or wherever your tractor is from and let them fix it for their price on their time, whenever it's convenient for them.
Right.
And that doesn't work very well for most people. Right to repair takes away that corporate control and allows farmers to fix their own tractors and get back out in the field sooner rather than later.
Which they should be. I mean, farmers have always fixed their own machinery And it seems like these corporate companies are increasingly making their products difficult to impossible for the farmer to fix themselves. And so,
Right.
yeah, I
And
think
so right to
there's that
modify
element.
is kind of a flip to that,
Yeah,
where sometimes the producer of your equipment or whatever it might be will say, oh, well, we can't fix that for you because you modified it.
right.
Like it takes it out of warranty, it's no longer eligible, and you're just kind of SOL if it breaks.
Hmm.
Um, so right to modify and right to repair really give our farmers, but also every Montanan, a lot more flexibility and control over the things they already purchased,
Right.
the things they already use. We also saw a lot of proposals around privacy and not in the abortion rights kind of privacy, in like I need the government to stay out of my personal life
Hmm.
kind of way.
Like the collection of data for
Yes.
personal. Hmm.
Hmm. We passed language to oppose the use of mass surveillance systems in the United States. I'm sure some people have seen flock cameras that have been kind of popping up around the country. They're a private camera company that is partnered with the White House, with ICE, and they use these cameras to essentially spy on people.
Wow. Where do they
Um,
put said cameras?
I was looking at this actually. I'm spacing on the URL for the link, but if you look it up, there's a flock map and you can see, like, you can look up where you live and see if there's one near you.
Really?
There's one in Great Falls. Do you want to know
Big?
where it is?
Uh, my guess is like in front of a prison or
Home Depot.
oh, okay. That's
Because
crazy because that's where ICE goes to round up deportees. Oh, wow, that is
uh-huh,
oh, that makes me mad.
uh-huh.
Wow. Oof.
So yeah, we oppose the use of mass surveillance systems, and the flock camera can get out of the Great Falls Home Depot anytime now. We also put in language to ban surveillance pricing in Montana and prohibit companies and corporations from using your information or an algorithm or something like that to determine a rate for you versus a rate for someone else. I've seen a lot of people start to freak out because the grocery stores are going to digital price tags. There's a good handful of grocery stores that are going to digital price tags. And if they're digital price tags,
They can change the
that
price.
number can change whenever it wants to.
Ugh, hate that. Hate that.
Yeah. We also
That's
passed
really
a
what we're
proposal working towards corporate accountability for bad data practices. If you're going to be responsible for people's personal data, you better have it secure. You better not be doing anything shady with it, and you better not be breaking the law
hmm.
with said personal data. We oppose the Public Service Commission allowing corporations to avoid Montana's right to know laws by claiming competition or secrecy when they're in government proceedings. Just because you don't want to tell the public does not mean that's a business secret.
Right.
You don't get to use that as a cop out. We support the right of every Montanan to privacy, security, dignity, and control over their own personal information. That's my name. That's my face. I get to say what happens with that. Not you, not the government, not Meta, not Apple, me.
So
Uh,
that's to say, like, somebody couldn't like recreate your likeness through an
mhm.
AI generated film or something.
Right. You would like hypothetically you would be able to like sue or something if this was to become state law or
Hmm.
something like that.
Got it.
Um, and then we also support workers' right to know when automated systems are used to monitor or make decisions about their job. Amazon warehouses is
Hmm.
the big one there.
Yeah.
Um, they time how long your bathroom breaks are. They time how long you're standing in one spot. Like they have cameras
Wow.
and AI watching you all of the time, and that's how they determine your work performance.
Oof. What a world we live
You
in.
deserve to fight with your boss. Sorry.
Yeah.
We had a couple of good ones come through regarding the environment, outdoor recreation. Um, We got corner crossing into the party platform. This is, I believe, maybe the first time it's ever been in the platform.
I believe
Um,
so too. Yeah, there's been lots of back and forth over the years with
mhm,
this one. I think
mhm,
the biggest tension is between property owners and
mhm.
public users, and
Right.
yeah.
It opens up like you could go into the weeds forever when it comes to corner crossing about who it's good for, who it's bad for, whether you should, whether you shouldn't.
Can you
But
explain a little bit what it is, what it means?
so the courts have held that corner crossing is legal. And the concept of corner crossing is so if you have a checkerboard and this is private land and this is private land, but these two chunks are public, I can step from corner to corner on that public land without trespassing, so long as I don't touch the fence, I don't open a gate, I don't interfere with the private land whatsoever.
Hmm.
That's why it's called corner crossing, because you're crossing from corner to corner.
Hmm.
And it's becoming more and more of an issue here in Montana as we see more private ownership of land surrounding public land. Um, because if everyone buys up private land around public land, you don't have access to that land. It might be public, but if you can't access it, then is it really all that public? And so corner crossing allows you to access your own land because it's public land.
Yeah.
Just be respectful of landowners and the works.
And I just don't understand, like, I'm not a landowner, but if I were, and I just up and decided to buy this new chunk of land that was for private usage, but it
Mhm.
surrounded public, and like to me it would make sense like if this bordering property is public land, there would be public land users using my property to cross. Like it just makes sense to me. So,
Right. It's like buying, like, I live on the corner of a busy street. It would be like if I moved into this house and was like, oh my God, there's traffic. I can hear the fire trucks. It's loud.
yeah,
I knew that. I knew that. You know, like you kind of know when you buy a chunk of land next to public land that there might be people hunting and fishing and hiking
right,
near your land.
right.
But yeah, so corner crossing is now in the party platform. Of course, this, as if you can't tell from this discussion alone, will be a long time coming. It takes a lot of conversation, a lot of compromise, a lot of figuring out what works best for everybody.
Hmm.
Um, because landowners aren't in the wrong. They want to protect their property and keep people safe and make sure that nothing is going to happen to their investment.
Hmm.
And public land users want to go fishing on their land, and they have every right to do that too. So it's just a compromise game for the most part.
Hmm.
Other outdoor stuff, we oppose the construction, expansion, and operation of tar sand and crude oil pipelines, including the Bridger pipeline. Um, no, thank you. Not in my environment, not in my Montana. Support sustainable timber harvest and management. There is a way to do logging and do it correctly,
Hmm.
especially with the wildfires that we see here in Montana.
Yeah.
But we have to make sure that's done in a sustainable, environmentally friendly way. That doesn't mean we just get to walk in and cut down half a forest because we felt like it.
Hmm.
And then support enacting hunting and fishing regulations that consider Montana residents first. There's no
Right.
reason some guy from California gets to fish the river before I do. No,
Right.
no.
Or gets like a big game tag that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, only limited to a select few that can pay.
Mm-hmm. I was just camping last week, took some time off, got out in nature, turned my phone off. It was lovely. And everyone I met out at the river was an out of stater. It's just fine. It's summer, it's tourism season. We all know how that game works out. But we were deciding if the river was going to get hoot owled or not, if
Mhm.
they were going to cut us off at 2 o'clock from fishing because it was too warm outside, the water temps were too high, and the fish were going to struggle. And so I was talking about this with some guy from Wisconsin, I believe. And he was like, well, yeah, like we know the river's low, but we figured that you guys probably would know better and wouldn't want to fish it. So that's why we came here. And I
Well,
was like, there's no way you just looked me in the eyeballs and said that.
What? Weird.
Yeah. But all in all, I think convention was a win. I think we made a lot of really good progress. This is by no means everything we did in Billings. If you wanted me to tell you all of that, I'd probably need 2 or 3 hours. So stay
Totally.
tuned for when the platform goes live on the website, montanademocrats.org. But yeah, I think this gives us a really good foundation and framework heading off into November.
This was personally the second platform convention I've attended, and it was by far the longest I've ever attended. Because we covered and discussed and debated so many different topics. And so, like, I know not everybody in attendance got everything they wanted, but that's how it goes. I mean, that is a democracy, right? Um, but like, we took care of a lot of business, and I think everybody in that room should be really proud of
Mhm.
what we did take care of. I mean, we basically doubled the size of the platform, which, is a good and bad thing
Good
because
thing and bad thing.
at some point, we will need to revise it down a little bit. That's just like how this works, kind of. Otherwise, it'll turn into a Bible size, right?
It'll be thousands of pages.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, generally, I think people should be really proud of what we did.
And we were able to strike one thing from the platform. We were able to
That's
strike
right.
the action agenda item to establish Indigenous Peoples Day here in Montana because we passed that last session.
We now officially have an annual Indigenous Peoples Day, which took three different legislative sessions to get passed. And so
Mhm.
that's an example of what the business we take care of in a platform convention. Like, a lot of this is what action items of what we hope to do. And that was
Mhm.
a prime example of an action item. It took a long time and a lot of effort, but like, it passed in the House and Senate with big majorities this session.
Mhm.
Took a few sessions, but they did it. And now it's law of the state.
Mhm. Definitely. But it is also a rough day for Montana healthcare today, Andy. It's Wednesday, July 1st,
Yeah.
when we're recording this. And today, the new Medicaid requirements go into effect.
Mhm.
And we've been sounding the alarm on these for literally a year now, because these changes came out of the Big Beautiful Bill, which passed last year, from the Republicans. It was Donald Trump's piece of legislation that he thought was going to deliver him every election from now until the end of time.
Yeah.
And I think that's backfiring on him pretty hard. The federal government, after they passed the Big Beautiful Bill, told states you have until January 2027 to put these changes into effect. And everyone said, oh, yeah, duh, because it's right after the midterms. Then the Republicans won't catch any flack for all of these Medicaid problems. Um, Whether or not Gianforte thought that one through or not, I'm not sure. But Montana decided that we were going to implement these requirements 6 months early. 6 months early.
Nuts, because these requirements are not a good thing for
Right.
people that rely on Medicaid.
Right. This is going to make Medicaid harder to get and even harder to keep.
Mhm.
Some of the new requirements. So individuals between 19 and 64, which was the eligible age range for Medicaid, because once you turn 65, you can go on Medicare.
Mhm.
If you're between 19 and 64, you have to work, attend school, or volunteer at least 80 hours a month to qualify for Medicaid. That's 20 hours a week. It's about part time. Individuals must make less than 138% of the federal poverty line, is the income threshold that they've set. If you're single, that's 22 grand. If you have a 3-person household, that's about 37,700 or so. So the income requirements are fairly low, um, but it's everything else that will make it difficult. Because new applicants have to meet all of these requirements for a month before they can even submit an application. So you have to get a job, enroll in school, find a community program that you like volunteering in, and do it for a month before you can even attempt to get health insurance. And they still might tell you no. And then if you do get approved when you apply, You then have to reapply every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months. That means doing the whole thing over again. Pay stubs, social security numbers, driver's licenses, all of those things that you have to go pull out of some corner in your house every 6 months. And you better hope to God you don't lose anything because Gianforte's health department will smack you for it faster than you can even say sorry.
Right.
Um,
A downside to this, not just to the people of Montana that rely on Medicaid and for their health care, is also to the state, in which the state will be paying more because they need to hire way more people, like close to 100 more people
yeah.
for administrative duties
Mhm.
to take care of all this. Like, just think of all the people on Medicaid here in Montana that now are having to not just reapply once a year, but having to reapply every 6 months.
Mhm.
So somebody needs to file that paperwork. Like, we need way more people doing admin for this now, which
Mhm.
they think of that. Like, now Montana as a state has to foot those bills. Gianforte is starting the process 6 months earlier, so
The
scoop
thing
that.
that makes me really mad about the early start is that like the feds aren't even really ready for this to happen.
Yeah.
Like they're
But
still setting up their infrastructure. And here we are just like hoping and
yeah, let's
praying for the
start
best.
now. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Because do you remember in 23 when Gianforte unrolled Medicaid and made everybody re-enroll?
Yeah. And people just lost their
Yeah, tens of thousands of people lost Medicaid because they couldn't get reapproved, even
right.
though they had been on the program for years.
Yeah. Many didn't even know it right away. They were just
Right.
off. Exactly.
Right. So this is your PSA. If you're on Medicaid, if you know someone who's on Medicaid, if you know someone who might need to be on Medicaid at some point, get a folder, get a binder, get some kind of organizational thing, and keep everything that you need for that Medicaid application in it. And don't take it out unless absolutely necessary. Because the second you miss 2 hours, you only do 78 hours instead of 80 hours. They're going to ding you for that. They might make you reapply. They might kick you off entirely. But Gianforte's health department is not one that I would be trying to play games with.
No.
Um, it's really unfortunate that our Republican administration wants to make literally everyone's lives harder because you shouldn't have to do all of that to go to the doctor. You shouldn't have to be able to keep track of every single pay stub and every single document that's ever had your name on it. And it shouldn't be that hard. Really shouldn't.
No.
There are a couple of exemptions to the Medicaid requirements. Um, if you're a Native American, you're exempt. If you're a caregiver for kids under 14 or a person with disabilities, you're exempt. Um, if you were a foster kid and you're still under the age of 26, you're exempt. Pregnant women and postpartum women for 12 months are exempt. People who have been incarcerated within the last 3 months and individuals who are deemed medically frail.
Hmm.
And the federal government released new rules around this definition of medically frail. And essentially, what they said is a person can't just be diagnosed with a condition that is qualified as medically frail. They have to prove that they can't work because of said diagnosis. So, not only do you have to collect all these pay stubs and everything, you've also got to ask your doctor a million questions and get them to write you a letter. And
A lot.
this is why we have to elect Democrats in November. And I'm running out of ways to say it any fancier than that.
Yeah. Democrats are responsible for getting Medicaid expansion passed and eliminating the sunset last session. Like, Democrats are the people that want everybody to have health care. It's that simple. Like, Republicans are trying to make this harder and harder. This is just step number one that they've chosen to take with the power that they currently have
Mm-hmm.
to make it harder for the less fortunate. Like, those with the least resources
Hmm.
to have the healthcare they need. If they continue down, like they will continue down this road.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it doesn't seem like they have any signs of stopping anytime soon.
no. So, agreed. We need to elect more Democrats that legitimately care about the people in this country.
Mhm. Would you believe me if I told you that isn't the only thing Gianforte is messing up with Medicaid?
Oh, sure. I believe you.
Yeah, because I've got another one for you too. Last spring, the legislature bipartisanly
Right.
passed a 3% increase for Medicaid providers. Essentially, what this rate increase does is it puts more money back in the pockets, back in the businesses of Medicaid providers,
Mm.
which allows them to keep their doors open and keep serving our communities.
Yeah.
Doctors do take a little bit of a hit when they accept Medicaid funding. It's a
Yeah.
lot more lucrative to go through private insurance. But these doctors that do take Medicaid are doing everything in their power to on shoestring budgets to keep doors open. So because they know that so much of our state relies on Medicaid, our rural areas depend on Medicaid.
Rural hospitals stay open because of Medicaid.
Yeah.
If we didn't
It,
have Medicaid right now, many rural hospitals would shut down.
mm-hmm. And so, like, when we see Medicaid providers dropping one by one by one by one, not only is that hard for Medicaid as a system in the state, it's hard to keep it running when you don't have anyone providing the care, but also it means you have to drive an extra 20 minutes to the doctor when you were already driving an hour.
Hmm.
Or now you've got to go 2 hours in the completely other direction, or whatever it might be. Making sure these private providers keep their doors open is literally the foundation of our healthcare system.
Yeah.
Our state's too big for it to be otherwise. Well, now Gianforte doesn't want to do it
Just because he feels like he doesn't want to. Like, how can he
because
not do it if it's like,
budget shortfalls.
ah.
You
So
remember
what
how you were
then does
saying
he,
that they had to hire all those people?
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, oh. So
I
hiring all
actually
the
don't.
people for
I
this
actually don't
job makes
know if
sense.
it's
Yeah.
that, but he is claiming that there just isn't room in the budget now for this 3% increase, and so they're just not going to do it.
I
Too
don't
bad
think,
for him. Like you were saying, Montana Democrats actually care that
yeah.
Montanans have access to healthcare.
Yeah.
And so our legislators went through and they found four different accounts that Gianforte could pull money from to pay for this provider rate.
Could his slush fund be one of those accounts?
I'm sure it could be because he's still sitting on that too.
Ugh, that's aggravating.
Uh-huh.
We
Um,
we have the money and the money was allocated.
yeah.
Do what's right, Governor, and do what we we want done. I don't
Like that's the
understand.
thing that's so baffling to me is that like it passed on a bipartisan basis and then Gianforte signed the bill and now we're not doing it.
Yeah, that's another crazy. Like he literally already signed it, so it's law.
Like, why didn't you just veto it then?
Right. And like we can't pass the budget unless we don't know the money's there. So like the money is obviously there.
Montana's required to have a balanced budget.
Right. This is bogus. It
Oh,
feels like
it's
he's just doing
complete
it because
bogus.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just him talking out his bald little head again. He can keep praying for rain, that's fine. We're gonna get Montanans healthcare.
Yeah.
So if you're pissed, like I'm pissed, call Gianforte. His phone number is 406-444-3111, 3111. There's three ones in there. Take 2 minutes this week to call the governor's office and tell him to fund this bipartisan 3% provider rate increase. Phone number is 406-444-3111. Yeah. He
Mm.
doesn't, I know he's on his way out and he knows he's on his way out, but he's still got a job to do for 2 years.
Yeah. Let's make those phone calls, people. This is important.
Agree. And this is a really easy thing to pressure him on
Yeah.
because he already committed to it.
To follow through with the law. Yeah, he already signed.
I mean, I know following the law is hard for him, but come on. All right. Well, Andy, I think that's all we've got for this week.
That's all we got already? It's a lot to talk about these days, though.
There is a lot to talk about these days, and I'm sure we could do this every day if it really came down to it. But then I don't think anyone wants to listen to us that much. So we will talk to you all next time. Call the governor, let him know to fund the rate increase, and then keep your eyes out for the website, montanademocrats.org. That platform should be up soon.
For sure. And make sure you're eligible to vote because we have another election in November.
We're only 110, 120 days.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. Anyway, we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
See ya.